Good evening. Thank you for joining. I hope you have your paper and Bible. If you don't have one, please get one or you'll need it. You will need one. Welcome. Please, I hope you have something to write with. It will help you. Welcome, 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 welcome again. If you don't have writing materials, go and grab one before we start. It's something that's going to be a little continuous, so I'm just going to wait for a few more people to come so that we can start. It's going to be a little difficult for people that come in the middle. Where's the slide? Okay, here it is. So, hi, welcome, guys. Please get writing materials, paper and biro, note and book, something. Okay, so this is actually literally what I'm going to be taking us through today. I'm going to be teaching us how to interpret nutrition labels. Hey, Dr. Yusuf. Hi. Okay, I'm going to be teaching us how to interpret nutrition labels, and this particular what I'm going to be going through today is actually one of the models of a course that we are building. I get on Stay Fit Academy. So basically, it's a 10-week video course that teaches you everything concerning how to eat healthy and how to lose weight and how to actually keep it off. Alright, so I'm just going to go through that particular module with us. So I'll be using my slides for that particular class. If you already have my book, this is something that's also in the book, so you should be able to learn it from that as well. So yes, let me just quickly introduce myself. Please, is this your first time here, or if you're watching a replay, my name is Odunayo, and I am Navin Health, and I am the face behind Optimum Foodie. I'm a pharmacist and certified nutritionist, and I love teaching people how to eat healthy with our own food, Nigerian foods. I help people transform their bodies, transform their health using foods that they love. I'm completely against starving to lose weight. I'm completely against just too many things I feel people do wrong, and I'm just usually I'm more than excited to teach you, all right, to help you out. So if you have any nutrition question, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're struggling with belly fat, I've never been big. Belly fat has always been my personal struggle. So, I'm more than happy to show you the way, as you say. All right. So please, who's ready? Hands up, paper and biro. All right. So let's just start with. So we're just going to go through it, my points one by one. So firstly, what are nutrition labels? Simply put, they're just those boxes that you see on products that just tell you, that give you nutrition information, right? So they tell you how many calories are in the product, how many carbs are in the product, how many carbs are in the product, how much protein. They just tell you all these different nutrition information about that product to help you make a decision, right? On first, maybe whether you should even buy it at all, and if you decide to buy it, it'll also help you know, okay, fine, I've bought it, how much of it should I take? All right. Then it can also help you to decide which product to buy. So you can have two different products that they're similar. The nutrition label, you can read the nutrition label to decide to help you choose, okay, these two are almost the same thing, maybe two different brands of, I don't know, tuna, fish, or sardine, or bread, or cornflakes, something, and you just want to decide, you don't know which one to choose. All right. The nutrition label can be a tiebreaker. Okay, maybe this one has less sugar than this one, or this one has less calories than this one. Depending on your goals, you'll be able to decide which one to choose if you're able to interpret the labels. Now, the main reason why I decided to hold this class is because I did a post on Monday, I think yesterday, where I said that a health claim is not equivalent to low calorie. Many times when you buy a product, products have this very, very large all these different large signs. So you might see low calorie here, you might see low calorie, zero sugar, zero cholesterol, zero this, zero that. And many times when we see those things, I think your mind just makes you feel like, oh, it must be healthy. And the truth is, when it comes to weight loss, it's not just about the product being healthy. And in fact, sometimes some of those things are still not healthy, despite all those things that they put there, because, and they're allowed to put it. Let me explain what I'm saying. So, for example, if you have a product that says it is sugar free, now when they say a product is sugar free, all they're saying is that it doesn't contain actual like granulated sugar, your sugar in your house. It doesn't mean that it doesn't contain any carbohydrate at all. So if you have something like a biscuit that's sugar free, some flour still went into making, like baking flour still went into making that biscuit. So even though it doesn't contain sugar, it contains flour, which is still a carbohydrate. It contains probably some fat as well. It contains all these other things. So therefore, you now thinking that it's low calorie just because you wrote sugar free and you can eat, as many as you like, would be very, very, very wrong. Basically, just be a disaster. So knowing, if you're able to go to the back, if you're able to actually read it and understand what it says, then you can make the right decision based on the actual thing that it contains. Okay. Another thing is nutrition labels are accurate, but they allow a little. They allow some. Well, how do I put it now? They allow it for a range. So usually they're like 20%. So usually it's like it can be 20% more, or about 20% less, or it can be very accurate. But basically, they are allowed to have that range. So the truth is, product labels are not, 99.9% accurate all the time. All right, so it might be, I don't know, it might be 90% accurate, it might be 95% accurate, it might be 85% accurate. All right, so it might overshoot, they might under what I call it now. It's the same thing for drugs, although the percentage is not that wide. But for drugs, they allow some allowance because machines that make these things, and even though the machines are actually not 100% perfect, so the weight, might vary slightly from one particular batch to another, and so on and so forth. So there are usually those slight variations, but I mean, in the end, it's still a very, very good guide. All right. So let us go. So now, right now, I'm going to flip my screen, so you can see. 1 second. Okay. So let me see. Does this work? Okay. Yeah. So I'm just going to show. All right. I'll advise you to turn your screen as well. So please let me know if you can see my screen properly. Just say hi. Hello guys, welcome. So just say hi if you can see my screen. Okay. Just, I don't know, say hi if you can see my screen. Can you guys hear me? Can I go on? Okay, all right. So basically, firstly, we're just going to go through the different aspects of the nutrition label, and then we can, what's the word? And then we'll go on to do examples and stuff. All right. So this is the very first part here. Let me hope that zoom. Okay, so now this is at the very top here. You can see something. They said 7 per package and 7 size. Now, what is a 7 size? Sometimes many products usually have what do you call them now? Many products would recommend how much they want you to take, or how much they are recommending is an okay amount. So for example, let's assume that this is the nutrition label for a pack of cornflakes. Now usually they would have an amount that they feel is okay, and from experience, many times the amount that they're telling you to have, that's the suggested, they call them suggested serving size. It's not compulsory you take the amount, but they're telling you, but they're suggesting it, and that's what the second one is, serving size, right? Many times I notice that they are usually very fair amounts. In fact, they're usually even a little smaller than what I even want to take. So it's a good guide, but if you know exactly how many calories you are going for, then it's fine. Okay, so that's what this is, just a suggested serving size. It's not compulsory that you follow exactly what is here. Now, servings per package, 16. It's telling you that if you use this serving size, that means if you decide to take 2 over 3 cups every time you take the product, you'll be able to eat that product 16 times. So it's telling you how many times, basically how many servings are in the pack. So as I said, let's assume that this is a pack of cornflakes. Okay, they're telling me that if every time I eat, I choose to take their own suggested serving size, which is either 30 grams. If I'm weighing, if I decide to use my measuring cups, 2/3 cup, I'll be able to take 16 times. That's just all that is happening here. So usually not all products will have this. All right, some products just go straight to this lower part of the table. Not all products have suggested serving sizes, but many actually do. Okay, so usually for most of the time, when a product states their own suggested serving size, they will now give you the calorie details for that suggested serving size. Okay, so since they have suggested that you should take 30 grams, which is 2/3 cup, they've given you the details for that particular amount, which is here. Many times also, some products will also give you another column for 100 grams. Now this is per serving, and since they said it's 30 grams, that means everything here is the information for that 30 grams that they talked about. Now this other side is per 100 gram, and the reason why I like this particular side, I like when a product has it, is because this side helps you when you're comparing. So now let's assume that you have another product that is similar. So let's say this is a cereal and you have another cereal, all right, but I try to compare the labels. Now of course it's important that you are comparing the same amount. So for example, these people here have said that a serving size is 30 grams and they've given the information for 30 grams. Now imagine that the other cereal you are comparing with also has a serving size, but maybe their own serving size is 50 grams. Now, to be unfair for you to be comparing the information for 30 grams with the information of another product that is 50 grams, it will be an unfair comparison, because of course the calories will be more in that one because it's 50 grams, not 30 grams like this one. But usually when they have a per 100 gram, if that one also has a per 100 gram, then you just do 100 gram, you're able to compare the same amount, 100 gram of this versus 100 gram of that. Of course, if you're lucky and the other product has a serving size that is also 30 grams, then I can compare 30 grams versus 30 grams. But the point is, you get, all right? If you're comparing two different products, you have to ensure that you're comparing calories in the same amount for the two different products. It will make sense if I'm comparing the amount of calories in 50 grams of one product with the amount of calories in 100 grams of another product. It will be unfair because it's not the same amount you're comparing. So that's why not all products actually also come with this one, with this particular column, but it's always great when it has it, and when you're comparing, the other product has it, so you just know, okay, you're comparing 100 grams of product A with 100 grams of product B, and you know everybody's fine. All right, so now let's move downwards. So energy is the calories. That's what I mean by energy. As I always said, energy is just it's just a unit of energy. So the same way you measure length in centimeter, you measure distance in kilometer, calories is a unit of energy. And another unit is actually this kilojoules right here. Now I left this here as kilojoules because I know most of us are used to calories, but the truth is you will find some products that have kilojoules, and so you need to know how to do the conversion. Okay, because we find it easier to relate in calories. This is how to do the conversion. All right, whatever you see, if you find something in kilojoules, all you need to do is divide it by 4.2 to get the quantity in calories. So for that product, it was 432. So 432 divided by 4.2 is, that means it's actually 103 calories. All right. Some products you'll be lucky. Some products will actually state both in kilojoules and in calories. Some will give you calories, that's what it is in, and some will give you only kilojoules because that's what they've chosen to use. But since most of us are used to interacting and doing everything in calories, then it's important that at least you have an idea of how to convert. So it's very easy. If you see kilojoules, just divide whatever value that it is, just divide it by 4.2 and you have your answer. All right. So the next one is, so this is telling you the amount of protein in 30 grams. So it's telling you it has 2.8 grams of protein. Now for fat, all right, this is another important place that I want you guys to look at. Now for the fat, it will give you different values. Now this here, it says total fat. So many products. Now, fat is divided into two. There are two types of fat. Okay, you have saturated fat and you have unsaturated fat. Now, hold on. Okay. So as I was saying, you have saturated fat and you have unsaturated fat. But most of the time, product will just state the saturated, and you know that, okay, the difference will be the unsaturated. Okay, now which one is healthier? Generally, your unsaturated fat is the healthier fat. So that means that whenever you're buying a product, or maybe if you're trying to even choose between products, you're trying to go for products that are higher in unsaturated fat. That means products that have small saturated fat compared to unsaturated. So firstly, under fat, usually they'll give you the total. So here they said total is 0.4 grams. This is in 30 grams. If you take 30 grams, this is the value for 100 grams. Now, is 0.4, and then they're telling you that out of this 0.4, which is the total amount of fat, 0.1 grams is saturated. Now, from this table, you can see that the amount of saturated is small compared to now they didn't write the amount of unsaturated fat because they feel that since they've given you the value for saturated, the value for unsaturated, which is healthy fat, can be easily deduced since it's a difference. If saturated is 0.1 gram and total is 0.4, it means that the unsaturated is 0.3. All right. Now, this just tells you that the amount of saturated in these products is a lot smaller, which is 0.1, compared to the unsaturated, which would be 0.3, which means this is a good ratio. All right. So now this says, thanks, guys. Thank you for the hearts. So now it says generally pick foods with less than 10 grams per 100 gram. So for saturated fat, aim for the lowest per 100 grams. That means just ensure that whatever product you're picking, that saturated fat is significantly smaller than the unsaturated. And by how you just easily know is just compare the amount you're seeing here, which is 0.1 for this, compared to the total. 0.1 compared to 0.4 is a lot smaller, which means that the unsaturated, as I said, is 0.3, which means that this is a healthy ratio, so to speak. All right. So that's that for fat. So this fat column can be something that you can use to compare between products. So maybe you have two products, most of the different things are looking the same. So there are different things you can use to decide which product you want to pick. So it might be the fat. Maybe for this particular product, now you have 0.4, 0.1. You might end up seeing another product, where it's maybe 0.4 and the saturated is like 0.3. Okay, or even 0.2. That will make this product better, at least when it comes to the fat aspect. Let's say every other thing is looking equal, then this can be a basis for you to choose this particular product. Okay, then we now have the carbohydrates. So now, just like the fat, they usually split the carbohydrates as well, usually into 3 sometimes. So usually they'll write the total first, but now carbohydrates includes everything. So now remember, this is actually this is a way, assuming that this is a pack of cereal, right? Now in that cereal there are grains that they used to make the cornflakes in itself. That's the corn and whatever other kind of grain, I don't know, that they put into it. Those are carbohydrates. But then there's also sugar. That's like your table sugar or something called high fructose corn syrup. It's still a form of sugar. So usually they're all separate. So this is the total first, but they'll now tell you how much of actual granulated sugar, that's actual table sugar, that they put inside. So now this is a part of the total, right? Total carbohydrates is including both the sugar and the actual carbohydrates. That's for these cornflakes. Now that'll be like the corn and whatever other kind of grains that they used to make the cornflakes, plus the sugar, plus fiber. All right. So usually this fiber, so usually they rarely state the amount of carbohydrates that is coming from the main ingredients, but they'll tell you the amount of raw sugar that is inside that product. So this is another place where you can use to compare between products. All right, so if you have two different products, maybe the amount of total carbs are looking almost similar, you can decide to now check, okay, how much granulated sugar is in this product versus that product. Obviously, a product that has more granulated sugar is worse off because granulated sugar has a very high glycemic index. That means once you take it, the way your body reacts to it enters your bloodstream almost immediately because it is a simple sugar. It's very, very simple. Your body doesn't need to take time to digest it. It will just enter your bloodstream. All right, so you want to choose a product that has lesser amount of pure, granulate of, your normal homemade sugar. All right, you want to choose a product that has less of that. And of course, fiber. I've talked about fiber so much. Fiber is, it helps you to improve your digestive system. It helps you stay full out, which is very, very important, especially in this fit farm journey. Staying full, being hungry all the time is one of the big issues that people have. So if something has more fiber, most likely you'll be fuller on it. Not only will you be fuller, it'll help you digest your food better, and it's very, very important, especially if you're trying to get your tummy to get smaller. All right. Now, not all labels will include fiber, but if you see it, so basically this, my own example, is like the kind of like the perfect example. Oh, sorry. So not everything that is here will be stated, but ideally most products usually have them. Okay, now usually, of course, they also state sodium. Sodium is another thing that you of course want to compare. Now remember, as I said, you're advised to use the per 100-gram column to compare stuff, just to ensure that you're comparing the same amount of the two different products. As I said earlier, it'll be unfair for you to be comparing 100 grams of one thing with 50 grams of another thing. The values will not be correlating. Okay, now lastly, here is where the it's getting blurry. Okay, so here is where you usually state the what do you call it now? The ingredients. All right, so now they state the ingredients in the order of quantity. That means that the thing that is most inside that product, the thing with the highest quantity, hello Jukwe, the thing with the highest quantity inside that product comes first, and so on, and then they go all the way down to the end, all the way to the smallest product. So here I say this, which are the grains. This is, I said, this is like a box of cornflakes. So the corn. Now this is what they used to make it. Okay, they say wheat, oat bran, barley. These are the things that made the grains that they used to make the cornflakes. Now you can see that 76%. That's what makes most of these products, right? Now followed by xylem husk, then sugar, and so on and so forth. Now one way you can easily one reason why this can be important is for you to have an idea of just how much of something is in it. So for example, imagine if we saw cereal, and then, or you carry a product and one of the first or second things you see sugar. That tells you that product, even before checking the amount here, that just tells you that product has a lot of sugar in it. Simple. All right, because usually when they are listing this product, they are listing it in order of quantity. That means that the product that that has the most quantity, the ingredients that has the most quantity in that product will come first, then the second position will follow, and they do that all the way till the end. So if you find any product and you see that sugar is coming on very, very early in their list of things, you need to be careful with that product, because most likely it means that it has a lot of it likely has a good amount of sugar. All right, so I already mentioned this, how to convert kilojoules to calories if you find products that are not stating their stuff in calories. All right, just divide whatever value you see by 4.2. all right, now I'm going to do this particular example for us. I'm going to do it for a reason. It's something I really, really want us to note, which is a mistake many people make. Now, some people do know, sometimes it's not rocket science to interpret a nutrition label, but I'll show you the mistake many people make. So please pay attention. Now, look at this product now. Now, this one, as I said, see, now this is also a nutrition label. This is actually for Coca-Cola. And this does not include, this doesn't have a recommended serving size. As we can see, it just tells you per 250 ml. Now, always make sure that you look at what they're for. What am I saying? Remember in this former one, I told you that under here, these particular numbers are for 30 grams of that product. Now, of course, the whole box is more than 30 grams. It will be, wrong of us to think that these values are for the entire pack. All right, they've written it on the top here that these values are for per serving, and per serving is what they've written it up here, 30 grams. Very important. These people here have stated that this value they are stating here is for 250 mils. Okay, and right here, simple calories is even in calories. They've written already their calories 110. But remember, if you pick up a bottle of Coke is 500. the regular bottle, right, it's 500 mils. So it will be wrong of us to think that the whole bottle has 110. All right, why? Because what they are quoting for is 250. They're telling you that 250 mils per 250. They're telling you that 250 mils has 110 calories. That's what they're telling you. But you now have to ask yourself, if you plan to drink the whole bottle, now ask yourself, how much of this Coke is inside this entire bottle? But you now check and see that the entire bottle is actually 500 mils. So you now have to ask yourself that if 250 mils has 110, how many calories will be in 500 mils? And this is where small maths has to enter the matter. And I see people making this mistake a lot. In fact, there was a particular product that quoted for just 100 mils. Okay? And somebody told me that was the amount of calories, and the whole bottle was actually 500. And the person thought that what they quoted for 100 mils, and they said, let's say they said 100 mils contains 40 calories. And the person told me, oh, the whole bottle has 40 calories. And I was arguing with the person that it's not possible. You know, it's very, very important. So actually, 600 mils is 40 calories. That means that 500 mils will be 200, which will be 40 times 5. So while that person was thinking that he was drinking only 40 calories, he was actually drinking 200 calories. And people make this mistake over and over again, which is why I actually included this particular example that does not actually quote for the whole bottle. Okay? This picture is actually an Oyibo picture. Their own is even 591 mils. And now we even have 600 mils in Nigeria. Anyway, the big boy or big, I don't know what they call it. The very big one. Alright? But that means that for a normal regular 50 cl bottle, it will be 220 calories for a bottle of Coke that has 500 mils. Alright? Even though it's 110 written here, because this 110 is for 250, it's not for the whole bottle. So basically, if you want to consume 110, that means you're drinking half of the bottle, not the full bottle. Once you drink the full bottle, which is 500 mils, you have consumed 220. Alright, so just always ensure that after you have checked that, whenever you check the label, you are checking to ensure that you are checking for the quantity that they are quoting for, because you cannot hold them. They are not lying. Okay, if you make a mistake, that's on you, because it's actually clearly written there. So just ensure that you don't make that mistake. Very, 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 very important. Okay, this is another example. So what I'm trying to just do is I'm just trying to show you guys different ways in which this nutrition is not going to come in the same style, you know, the same design, but it's very similar info. So for this one, you have calories. They stated the amount of fat, so this is 0%. There's no fat in Coke, because it does contain some sodium. And of course, you can see carbohydrates. Now you can see that the carbohydrates is 30 grams, and then they wrote sugar to 30 grams. This is just to tell you that all the carbohydrate that is in Coke, 100% of it is coming from the sugar. All right, 100% of it is coming from the sugar. That's it's as simple as that. All right. What else? Okay, protein doesn't have any protein. See, not a significant source of other nutrients. All right. So yeah, so that's it. So basically, most of the nutrition that is coming from this thing is just coming from sugar alone. All right. Now compared to this one that we did, see, the total amount of carbs is 18.9, but sugar was only 3.5, because there are other sources of carbohydrates, which are the things that they listed here: the wheat, the oats bran barley that they use to make the cereal itself. All right. So carb is not only sugar. Carb is, I mean, you already know rice is carb. You know, flour. So if you are holding a biscuit, the flour they used to make the flour they used to make the biscuit is part of the carbs that it contains. All right. So, but when the sugar they're writing is for actual sugar, the sugar that we know as sugar. All right. So let's go to our next example. All right. So this is the label for a can of I think it's tuna fish. All right. Now remember that one we just did now did not contain nutrition label serving size, but this does. See now, nutrition fact, this says serving size. All right, so this is also giving you suggested serving size, just like the very first example that we did. And it says to now, if you're lucky, they'll give you different ways to measure. So now this says to us, this is like an American measurement, but it puts it in grams as well. So 56 grams, or about 1/4 cup. So that means you can decide, do I want to weigh if you have a weighing machine, or if I have my measuring cups, I'll just measure instead. So now amount per serving. So these people are giving you numbers for this serving that they have given you. As I said earlier, it's very important that you know what they are quoting for. So it's not enough to just come and read and say, oh, there are 80 calories in this thing. There are 80 calories in what amount of the thing? Most of the time, they might not be quoting for the entire thing you're buying. Okay, so you always have to read and look for what they are quoting for. These people are quoting for the serving size they are suggesting to you, which is 1/4 cup. So I'm telling you, if you take 1 over and see, and then they also specified something here. See, 2 oz drained. Now this is a can of tuna. You know tuna sardine, it comes with oil floating inside. All right, so they're telling you that after removing the oil. If you don't remove the oil, these values that they gave you are not correct anymore, because that's not what they quoted for you. They did not quote with oil for you. What they quoted for you, they've written it there, 2 oz drained. That means you removed the oil. If you removed, so they're telling you that if you remove the oil, you now measure 1/4 cup of the fish after you have removed the oil, then it will have 80 calories. So you just need to ensure that you're reading what it says and you're doing any extra thing. You're just ensuring that when you say, so when you're in your house and you want to be sure that it's actually 80 calories you're taking, and the only way to be sure is to read the instructions and see exactly what they quoted for. They quoted for when it is drained and for 1/4 cup. All right, and they're also giving you an idea of how many servings are in a can. So they're telling you if you do 1/4 cup, you'll be able to eat this can 2 times, which means that the entire can probably has about half cup inside by the time you remove all the oil. All right, sorry about the shaky. All right, so that means that this, so you know that, okay, fine, if I take half cup of this, that'll be 80 calories. Fine. You can decide to have more than 1/4 cup, depending on how many calories you are targeting for your meal. You know, let's assume that you decided to eat it with bread, and you're trying to maybe, I don't know, make a sandwich, for example. Make a sandwich, for example, and you started with maybe 2 slices of bread. 2 slices of bread is about 160 calories. By the time you add this 80 calories, 160 plus 80, that's already 240. You decide to use, I made a post about blue band spread for bread that's actually low calorie. So a tablespoon of that thing is just about 20 calories, and a tablespoon is actually a lot. Okay, so that's 260. Add lots of vegetables, add a fruit, maybe an apple, and you have a very low calorie meal, and and you can be filled up with the fruit and with the lots of vegetables you put in the sandwich. All right. Or depending, maybe you're targeting even 400 calories. You can decide to maybe do, instead of 1/4 cup, you decide to do 3/8 cup, which is a little more. All right. But basically, this just gives you an idea of how many calories it is. If you want to do more, if you want to do less, depending on your own goal. As I said, this is a suggested serving size. It's not this is the amount you must eat size. They're just telling you this amount is a fair amount. As I said earlier, from my experience of reading nutrition labels, most of the time the serving suggestions are always very good, such that if you decide not to bother your brain and decide to follow their suggested serving size, you most likely be good. So long as the other things you're combining it with, you're not overdoing those ones, then you most likely be fine. All right, you most likely be taking a good amount that is not too much. Okay, so it just gives you, so now let's look at this as well. It says total fat is 3 grams, and check this out. Okay, you can see here it says that saturated fat is 0.5. So just looking at, even if we're doing just these two things that they gave you, you can easily see that this contains a healthy amount of unsaturated fat. Okay, because if saturated fat is 0.5 and total is actually 3, you can see that saturated, which is the unhealthier fat, is making up a small amount of the total, which is one thing I said that you should look out for when it comes to the fat section. You're trying to pick things that have a smaller amount of saturated fat. All right, trans fat is 0, which is awesome. You want to go for 0 of this. This is very, very much implicated in increasing your bad cholesterols. Saturated fats are also implicated, but this is even worse. Like this is the worst of them all, trans fat. Okay, so you're looking for a product that has 0. Some will have small, maybe 0.1. but best is zero. They don't have any good, absolutely zero good to offer you, only bad. All right, so you're looking for you don't want them at all. Now I don't want to go into this much. This is the unsaturated, so you can see polyunsaturated. They shortened it, so polyunsaturated fat. This is monosaturated fat. So remember, I said total fat is divided into two. It's divided into saturated and unsaturated. But then the unsaturated is also divided again into two, into poly and mono. But I don't want to go too much into it. Okay. This is quantity of cholesterol, sodium, potassium. Fiber is zero. I mean, it's a fish, so there's no surprise that fiber is zero. Total carbs doesn't contain carbohydrates, which is also not surprising. Protein, of course, it has a good amount of protein, because I mean, this is fish. This is already, and which is actually really amazing, because this is almost 2 servings of protein already. All right, we just 1/4 cup of this. So that's a very, very good amount. That's one amazing things about tuna. So yeah. So it just gives you percentage of all the other stuff that is inside. So vitamin D, they're giving you the percentage. See, so it says here, percentage daily values are based on a 2,000 calorie diet. So now all these 30%, 10% and stuff you're seeing, they're saying that if okay, let's take like vitamin, I don't know. Okay, they're saying that if vitamins, there's a recommended daily amount depending on your the percentage, the calories you're trying to take. So for a 2,000 calorie diet, there's X amount of maybe vitamin A, or this is okay, let's use vitamin B6, simple, that you need. Basically, you're saying that this product, if you take 1/4 cup, has 10% of the amount of vitamin B6 you should be taking if you're in a 2,000 calorie diet. Now, but everybody's percentage, your amount of calories you're probably taking differs, but they just usually many times they use 2,000 calories as a general average for everybody in the world. But this, just don't bother your head too much about that. If you're taking enough of your fruit and your vegetables, you should be getting enough of this, okay? So I don't bother my head too much about it. Okay. So this just simply, let me just quickly answer some questions here. So this just means that if I decide to take, if 1/4 cup has 80 calories, then it just means that if I'm doing 1/2 cup, that would be 160 calories, right? It's simple math. I know some people are actually horrible with fractions. From experience, yeah, I think a lot of people have problem with fractions. So I hope, well, 1/4 times 2 is half, in case you don't know. If you struggle with your fractions, please just carry your calculator or something. Okay. So now let me just mention this. It has this. So it says fat calories. So they're saying that out of these 80 calories, 30 out of the 80 calories is coming from fat. That's what they're trying to tell you here. But it's not. It depends. Okay. So this is another example, and this is actually for Kellogg's cornflakes. This is the actual like nutrition label for Kellogg's cornflakes. So they have also done the same thing. They suggested a serving size. Alright, they suggested a serving size, and so they put the amount per serving. This is for the cereal. So these numbers that they quoted here are for the cereal. So they're telling you that the serving size, if you measure 1 cup, it has 100 calories. But they went a step further and included how many calories, that if you add 1/2 cup of skimmed milk, it will be 140 calories. But let's just not complicate things and not look at this side. Let's just keep it simple here. All right, I look at just the cereal. All right, so they've suggested the serving size, and they're telling you that the things that they quoted here are for the serving amounts per serving. All right, so if you take 1 cup, you'll be eating what, 100 calories. If you take now cereal, so it's not surprising, it doesn't contain any fat, cholesterol 0, contains some sodium, potassium, carbohydrates, most definitely. So as I just showed you earlier, this is the total, and then we have, it tells you the amount of fiber and the amount of sugar. So this is something that you probably want to copy. So for example, if I had like the pack for like Frosties, you can be sure that this sugar part here, of course, we're going to be comparing the same serving. So let's assume that Frosties also, their serving size is 1 cup, is the same amount, all right? And I compare, this sugar portion is going to be much higher in Frosties, because I mean, as you know, Frosties is cornflakes coated in sugar, basically. So you're going to see that reflected in the amount of sugar that it contains. All right, so I just want somebody to do this one for us. So the question is, how many calories are in 3 crackers? All right, so I want you to look at the label. So the first question is, how many calories are in 1 cracker? And then tell me how many calories are in 3 crackers. So hi, anybody can help us with that? Silk sign levels, hi. I hope I don't have questions or something. Can anybody help us? So the first question is, how many calories are in 1 cracker? Look at the label. This is actually the label for Jacob's crackers. I don't know if you know Jacob's crackers. It's quite popular. I personally really like it because it doesn't have a lot of it doesn't have too much fat in it compared to a lot of other crackers that they kind of like. The Biloxi is quite oily, although it doesn't have a nutrition label, so I don't even know how much. 105, awesome. Yeah, that's the amount of calories in 3 crackers. So yeah, because one has 35. So this one they've literally done the work for you. Like, it's so simple. They've literally broken down. They've told you one biscuit has, so this is one of the people that I said can be nice. You can see they put it both in kilojoules and calorie. So for people who maybe prefer kilojoules, and they also put the value in calorie as well, which is fantastic, right? They were very, very nice. And then you can just focus on the one that you are comfortable with, which is calories. So per cracker is 35 calories, very simple. So this, you can easily know how many calories you're eating if you decide to eat 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, and then you can decide when to calm down and close the biscuit and know that you have had enough. All right. And of course you can see it has very little amount of sugar, because I mean, see, the total amount of carbohydrates 5.5, of which sugars, as the amount of added sugar is 0.1. all right. So now if a product comes and says that they don't have sugar in their product, yes, fine, good, awesome, but I'm telling you, when you come back here, it doesn't mean that it doesn't contain carbohydrates, because I said earlier, carbohydrates, there are so many other things that make up carbohydrates. All right, so a product that says they are not sugar free doesn't mean they're saying it does not have carbohydrates. Sugar is a type of carbohydrates, but there are so many other carbohydrates. All right, so for this biscuit now, you know, the other things, carbohydrates, I don't know, when you're making biscuit, they add flour. I don't know if they add milk, but milk also contains carbohydrates, you know, lactose. So carbohydrates still coming from other places. All right, that might not be a sugar source. So for somebody that is diabetic now, and somebody that is diabetic sees a no sugar product, you know, it doesn't mean that, I'm not saying, obviously it's a good thing, because as I said earlier, the problem with actual raw sugar is because of the way your body responds to it, because of how quickly it is absorbed, and how, you know, quickly your body needs to try to bring it down, and starting trying to secrete insulin to bring it down and all that. It is very, very important, especially in diabetic people, even in healthy people as well, you know, because in the end we're also trying to prevent diabetes, right? So of course, the more we call them complex carbohydrates, all these other ones, so your starch, your rice, your flour, all those things, they're called complex carbohydrates. They're called starch, basically, because the idea is that they take more time to digest, because, you know, they're complex, as the word says, you know, compared to actual sugar. Once sugar enters your system, it is already already a very simple form. It's just the same way you when you want to give a baby food, you puree it, you blend it to make it very easy for that baby to swallow. That's the same way. That's how sugar is. Once you take it sharp, your body assimilates it very, very quickly, too quickly actually. That's the problem. But unlike the carbohydrates, you as an adult, you are eating the hard, you know, the one you still have to chew. There's still stuff you need to do. You chew it before you swallow it. Even the chewing that you've done, Seth, you know, you can't still compare it to the blended one that is very watery that you did for your baby. All right, so complex carbs are always better. And in fact, what's even better is when you have lots of fiber, because fiber even now further slows down that absorption process, so that your body is getting that sugar slowly, so that the increase in your blood sugar is more stable, is more steady, and that way your body is able to, your body's reaction to it won't be emergency, it won't be sirens going on in your body. because that's what happens when you take something. Hello, Niger Healthy Check. That's what happens when you take something that has lots of simple sugar. So that's what happens when you take your ice creams and things like that, okay, and your cokes. That is what happens. What happens is that you have a flood, because the sugar is so simple and is a lot of it. Once you take it, you have this flood of it entering your bloodstream, and your body needs to bring it down. So literally, sirens blazing. We need insulin. We need, everybody is trying to bring the sugar down. And the more and more and more you do that, the more and more you do that, the more you're increasing the chances that your body is going to become resistant to your insulin. Now, insulin is the one that helps you bring down the blood sugar, that carries that sugar into the muscles, carries them to be stored. But the more and more you do that, the more you're risking insulin insensitivity, which is what diabetic people have. All right. So you want to reduce the amount of simple sugars that you're taking, daily. So the last thing we're just going to do is comparing labels. Now, I've been talking since morning. I've been saying how you need to compare, how nutrition labels can serve as a means for you to compare product. Now, this particular product does not have a per 100-gram column. All they've done is put the servings. But as you can see, these two different products have very similar serving sizes. So I can easily compare the values. So it won't be an unfair comparison. Okay, because it says serving size here is 1 cup, serving size here too is 1 cup. All right, so I can do a direct comparison for these two products. I can do a straight up comparison. All right, so but let's say assume that this product came like this, and this serving size for this one is 1 cup, and I have another product and they put their own serving size at, I don't know, half cup. That means I have to bring both of them to speed, and that's where it can actually become annoying in that sense, because now you might need to do some math. So for example, if this was 1 cup and the serving size, the values they put here for this other product was for half cup, that means I have to multiply the values of this one by 2 before I'll be able to compare it with this one. Or I divide the values here by half, so I can compare half cup with half cup or 1 cup with 1 cup. But basically, you need to ensure that you bring the values, you're comparing the same amount. If it's not the same amount and you're just comparing like that, then you're doing rubbish. Let me just put it like that. And the reason you're doing it is for you to have good basis for comparison, because you are trying to choose a healthier choice. But that kind of mistake can leave you, leaving that store with the wrong choice because you did not compare properly. All right. I hope this thing is sharp enough. I don't know, it's looking blurry on my end. Anyways. Okay. So now, this is very simple. It's calorie wise. This one says it's 80 calories. This one says 120 calories. For the same 1 cup, I am going for this one. But before I jump and say I'm going for this one, let's just also look at the other stuffs, okay? So this says that it doesn't have any fat. All right, so basically this is fat free. And this one says it has 5 grams of fat. And to make matters worse, 3 grams of it is actually saturated. It doesn't have any trans fat. But look at this. Compared to all the other things we've been looking at today, the amount of saturated fat in this is significant. It's 5 grams, and 3 out of that fat, which is more than half, is saturated fat. And I'm not comfortable with that. So cholesterol, 5 milligrams is 20. Sodium 10500, this has slightly more. Total carbohydrate, this has 12, is 11. So this actually has slightly more carbohydrate, but it's just 1 gram. So comparing that to 5 grams of fat, I'll most likely, and the fact that saturated fat is even so much, I'll definitely be going for this product. They have similar amount of protein. I'll definitely be going for option A. All right, it has less calories, it has less fat, and even more important, not just less fat, it has a lot less amount of saturated fat. It doesn't have at all compared to 3 grams of this. And so yeah, so I'll definitely be going with product A if I was faced with 2 products that look like this. Another thing that can actually happen is maybe you might see, okay, fine, maybe the amount of fat in this one, let's say this is much less, but let's assume that the amount of carbohydrate is a lot more. Okay, so here, the amount of sugar here, 12, 11, is still it's comparable. But that fine, this doesn't contain fat. But then I get here and I see something like 50 grams of carbs, or or especially the amount of sugar. And I see like, I don't know, let them not go all the way, let them not go that overboard. Let me say I see like 25 grams, or like let's say 30 grams of sugar here. All right, that's going to affect calories. It's bringing calories a little up, but then calories might still be less than this. But then I might start considering going for this, because trust me, raw sugar, especially imagine if I was buying it for a diabetic patient. Fine, this fat is an issue for me, but then this sugar too is a very, very big issue. All right, so if the amount of sugar that I see down here is significantly more than this, I might decide to go for this, even though it does contain fat and even though the calories are a bit more than this. Okay, so I'm not just going to look at the calories and jump and be going. Now, for a generally healthy person, it might be fine. In fact, no, I would say it's fine. I think you should still look at this because it's very, very important. Diabetes is very preventable, and I'm very, very passionate about diabetes because it runs in my own family. And my dad was once pre-diabetic, but now his blood sugar, he has been normal glycemic. That means we reversed his pre-diabetes, and he has been free for a very long time now. But I have an uncle that's diabetic. My grandma died of it, so I know I'm at risk of it. So it's something that is very, very close to home, and it's very, very important to me. And this is preventable. That's even the awesome thing. Minus my dad, there's so many other people that I've worked with that had pre-diabetes. Very young people though. Okay, so don't think that you're too old to you're too young, to have diabetes. All right, I've worked with people in their 20s, that were already pre-diabetic, but luckily we caught it early and we're able to do something about it. Okay, so just ensure that you're doing your own part to prevent it, and you're checking too. Okay, it's not too early to check. You'll be surprised. I mean, those people I had a client that was 24. Okay, you'll be thinking you're 24. Why should your blood sugar be high? But I'm telling you, it was high. All right, but she was lucky, as I said. It was still in pre-diabetic stage, and we were able to reverse it. So we don't want to be hearing stories that touch. Okay, so do your own did. So sugar is in fact, sugar has related minus blood sugar, high amounts of simple sugars, carbs and refined carbs generally have also been related to. Okay, I think I'm just going to go back to me mode. Hi, I hope you guys missed my face. Okay, so high levels of sugar have actually been related to not just increased chance of having diabetes. Actually, if you have a family history, like I said, for somebody who, like, if me and somebody were eating the exact same thing, I will still have a higher chance of having diabetes than that person. Like, if my food was high, maybe both of us are eating the same kuje, right? But I might have a higher chance of having diabetes because it runs in my own family compared to that person. All right, so we're very, very different, and you just need to work towards your goal. I mean, but the fact that you don't have a family history does not obviously doesn't mean you should misbehave, right? Many people who also come out diabetes do not have family history. They are the first in their family. And I also want you to think about it this way. Wendy, hi, Cynthia, what's up? The moment that you come down with diabetes, even if nobody else in your family has had it, basically you are now the carrier. You are the one that is bringing diabetes to your family. I don't think you want to do that. Because now once you have it, now you are the one that is going to carry that gene. Now you're going to probably, give your children that gene. That's not a nice, and you're not just even your children, and then it's just, of course your children can block it, and maybe make better decisions and not have diabetes, and on and try to break the diabetes gene, so to speak. But you don't want to be the one that brings diabetes to your family, especially if you're coming from a family that don't even have it before. All right, you want to give your children a better chance of not having it, because once you have it, you're especially before you conceive, then you're increasing the chances that they're going to have it because you have it. All right, so do right by yourself, do right by your children and your future generation. All right, so you can try to think about it like that. So yeah, I hope that you guys are I hope this was helpful. I know it's a lot of numbers and stuff, but the replay is going to be up, so I advise you can go back up there and rewatch it if there's anything that you don't understand and you like to go over. Actually, everything here is actually in my book. So if you don't have a copy, I even put somebody's review. So she said after reading the book, she has become the herbalist in her house. with counting calories and advising everybody what to do. And she has also lost a good amount of weight. So if you don't have it yet, ensure that you get yours. What should I be eating? That's the title. It's just 2,000 naira for the hard copy, also 2,000 naira for the ebook. There are also stores that have it, so whichever way you want to get it, ensure that you get yours. And if you want to work with me personally, if you want my personal touch, I want me to be, I don't know, calling you and checking on you. I want to be able to be harassing me and sending me messages. We also have fantastic programs. Thank you, Edith. Thank you so much. You can send me a DM, send me a WhatsApp message. Our free tantrum program is amazing. All right. All you need to do is go through my page. All you need to do is go through the highlights of our transformations. You can lose weight without starving, and you can lose weight, and it can be fun, and it can be. You can lose the inches, drop a dress size down, and I'm more than happy to help you. All right. So just ask about awesome class. You're welcome. All right. Let me take a selfie. Cheese. My phone paused my live video. Okay, we're good. All right. Yeah, so I think that is it. Yes, and for students, if you're a student, if you're a youth copper, I have this very, 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 very discounted. In fact, I'm very much thinking of increasing the price. That might happen in our next challenge because the price is ridiculous. It's just 3,000. All right. For students and coppers, it's called the Belly Blast Challenge. It's a 30-day challenge. I'll be providing you with a school-friendly meal plan. And when I say school-friendly, it's stuff you'll be able to find around you. It just there's so many options, so you just be able to find something that will work for you. Because I know how school is. I mean, we all went to school. So when I was creating that plan, I was thinking of myself in school. I would just create a plan that, okay, fine, Odwayo, would you have been able to follow this plan if you were in school? And that is what I had in mind when I was creating it, okay? I went to Unilag, by the way. Actually, I was in College of Medicine. I told you, I'm a pharmacist. I did pharmacy. So I don't know if there's anybody here, like, hi. Okay, so yeah, there's that. And then the workout, you'll be able to do it in your room. And basically it helps you lose between 4 to 7 kg, and you shed about 3 to 6 inches off your waist. So if you're struggling with belly fat, if you're trying to lose weight, trying to just start the weight loss process, you can start with that, and then maybe later you can get my book, and then later maybe you can sign up for the programs, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I really enjoyed this class. If you have any questions, let me know. Shop up with Mrs. Murphy. Thank you for joining. It was helpful. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy that it was helpful. Okay, so what else? I have fun with the selfies. Anyways, if you still have questions, maybe you can send me a DM. So long as the question does not involve me literally creating a meal plan for you, then maybe I'll be able to answer you. But yeah, you guys have a fantastic night, and see you guys next week, I guess. Bye. Night. And love you. Please, if you're just coming, I'm going to be putting the replay up, so you can definitely watch the replay. So just click on my stories, and then below you see story and up live. So click live, and you're able to watch everything that we did tonight. All right, ensure that you watch. It was an awesome class, and there's a lot to learn. Bye.